How is it going, everyone? It's K Limited here, and today we're going to be talking about a video game that me and all of my brothers played quite a bit of when we were kids, and that game is Defender on the PlayStation 2. Defender is a series that has been around for a very long time, since the days of the Atari, and it has definitely had a variety of changes in this version, because this is a full 3D game. It is a 3D flying game where you are piloting a spaceship and you are taking on a bunch of gigantic bug aliens. It feels a lot like playing a version of Starship Troopers in a lot of ways. You know, you're just a bunch of really cool space soldiers fighting alien invasions and trying to take Earth back and trying to basically protect all the other planets that the humans have colonized. So it's a really cool idea, a really cool story, and this is a PS2 game that I remember quite fondly, and I'm happy to say that it actually has aged pretty well also. This is a really fun game still, and I highly recommend it if you are looking for a really fun sci-fi space shooter game. This is really cool. So this is something that I think, honestly, is probably a must-own for the PS2, especially considering the price of this game. This is still a really cheap game, even to this day. So before I even get into talking about it too much, this is something that you should definitely look into picking up. You can usually find it for less than $10, and that is completely worth it. So, Defender, first of all, it's an awesome game. You're flying spaceships around in this game. You have a bunch of different spaceships that you can actually unlock. I think there's about 6 different spaceships in total that you can actually unlock and play as. Each one is very different from each other. Each ship has a wide variety of different weapons, and they all actually are upgradable through the campaign. So as you play through the campaign, you'll be able to spend points that you get in the missions to upgrade your weapons and to unlock new weapons. And also you can use the points that you get in these levels to get extra lives as well, because this game does use a life system. So keep that in mind while you're playing. Make sure you have plenty of lives. I always try to buy 1 life after every single mission. That way I can kind of stockpile them. I think that's a good way to do it. Now, the actual gameplay of this is pretty fun. I really like it. Missions are pretty different from each other in this game. You have some that are escort missions where you have to try to get basically transports to one area of the map to another and try to protect them from aliens as they're getting attacked, and you're just basically trying to get them there safely. That's some of the missions. You also have some where you're trying to defend bases and you're trying to make sure that the aliens don't destroy your bases. You have some where you are actually sent out to go destroy the aliens, so you actually have some missions where you go on the offensive. You have one mission where you're actually trying to stop aliens from basically kamikazing into a space that's like satellite, and you're trying to stop them from kamikazing into it, so you have to destroy them before they actually fly into it. And you have some cool missions like that. I actually enjoy all the missions and all the different stuff that you get. And when you're playing these missions, you have a few different features in this game that I actually really enjoy. One of those features is the fact that you're able to actually fly down and you can see astronauts on the planet, and you can actually pick up these astronauts and you can deliver them safely to a base. And if you do that, it will usually reward you with something. So if you deliver them to just like a regular base, it will give you like some health packets and some extra ammo and stuff like that. If you deliver them to some specific bases, though, they'll actually give you things like a tank in return, and you can take that tank and you can go lay it somewhere on the battlefield, and it will help you defend your territory. And that's a really cool idea. I actually like that stuff quite a bit, and I really like this game overall. I think it's a lot of fun. It controls very smoothly for the most part. I only had like 1 issue with the frame rate the entire time I was playing through it, but it was just a really quick thing, and then it immediately got better afterwards. I never had another issue with that, and I think I had 1 small audio glitch, and that was it. But other than that, this game still plays pretty darn well also. The only thing I would say about this game in terms of it aging not quite perfectly is whenever you're trying to pick up an astronaut off the ground, the ship can be a little bit slidey, so when you're trying to get it, perfectly on top of an astronaut to pick one of them up, sometimes it's just like it doesn't want to pick up the soldier. So that would probably be the one issue that I would say is, not great. But other than that, I still think that this is a fantastic video game, and its gameplay still holds up pretty darn well. While we're still on the topic of picking up the humans and delivering them safely to their bases, there's another reason to pick them up other than just you get stuff in return, if you don't pick them up, the aliens will actually pick them up instead, and they will harvest them, and they will be able to mutate into stronger aliens. So you definitely want to try and keep that from happening. And also, if you shoot the alien, they will drop the soldier, and you have to pick up the soldier in midair before they hit the ground, because if they hit the ground, well, gravity's still in effect. They're going to hit the ground, and they're going to go kablooey. They're going to just splat on the ground, okay? So you got to try to pick them up even when they're in midair after you knock down an alien. So definitely you want to try to save them, because you get more points for the more humans you save, and you actually lose points if humans die or if they get basically used for a mutation. So definitely try to save those humans. There are plenty of different planets and moons to go to in this game. You have a lot of different areas to explore, and each environment is very different from the last. And there's also quite a few different enemy types, so you never really get bored of the enemies that you're facing. Even towards the end of the game, they still kind of start throwing some surprises at you that you don't really expect. There's some really big aliens in this game too that are pretty cool to fight, and I really like fighting any of these kind of like, there's one that's like a brain bug, which immediately made me think of Starship Troopers again when they started calling it a brain bug. But there's a lot of cool aliens to fight in this game, and there's some really interesting designs, because there's actually one that will pick up those tanks that you're able to sit down. They will actually pick them up and start carrying them off, and you have to shoot them before they start carrying them off. That way you can get your tank back. So they do some different stuff and some really interesting, cool ideas, and I like it. I like it a lot. I think that is really cool to see that they had that many different enemy types, and I think that really shows just like that they really did put some effort into this game, and that's a good thing. This game, you can definitely tell that there was some time put into this game. There's some effort put into it. There's even actually cutscenes throughout this game, and the cutscenes actually look pretty decent, honestly. And the story and the voice acting and everything, it's not bad. It's actually pretty interesting. In fact, the ending of this game, I won't spoil it for you, but the ending of this game is actually really freaking cool. It's a pretty BA ending, if I'm being honest. So I really was, when I was playing through this again, I forgot how good it was. And playing through it again was definitely just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed my time with this game again, and just being able to just kind of have all these memories just come flooding back to me. It's a great time. And I think that if you are looking for a fun sci-fi game, this is a great one. And this is coming from someone who doesn't really even like flying video games that much. This is a good one. Like, if you're not a fan of flying video games, you'll probably still like this one. It's really, really fun. It is difficult. This is a hard game. I will say this game will kick your butt sometimes, even on the lower difficulties, because I like lower difficulties. I've always been a person who likes the lower difficulties the best. But even on low difficulty, this game will kick your butt, especially towards the final missions. But it's still worth it. It is a fun game. It is a greatly designed game. The soundtrack in the background, the actual audio and everything sounds fantastic as well. I love the music that it plays in the final mission. There's so much cool stuff going on here. And there's even a versus mode where you can play against one of your friends. So there's just a lot of cool stuff going on here. And I think that this is, again, a must-own for any PlayStation 2 collector. This is something you should pick up. It's super cheap. It's super fun. It has aged very, very well. I'm very happy with the way that it has aged, and it's just a blast. And honestly, in terms of graphics, it's really not that bad looking either. It's not as good looking as a lot of modern games, of course, but it's not bad looking. You can tell everything is perfectly fine, and there's a lot of good design choices in this game, and a lot of those good design choices kind of help this game age even better. So I think that this is a must-own. So I think that you should pick this game up. It's fantastic. I love Defender. I'm glad I played through it again. And it's not a very long game. I think it took me about 4 to 5 hours to beat. But if you play on higher difficulties, you'll probably get a little bit more time out of it. But still, though, I mean, it is a fun game to play through. Even if it's short, it is a fun time. And it's something that you need to experience if you like the PlayStation 2. But I'll talk to you in the next video. You have a wonderful day. Go play Defender. It is great, and I don't think you will regret it. And if you do, don't blame me. I'll talk to you next time. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.